Welcome to Traditional Bowhunting Wilderness Podcast. This is Jason Samkoviak. We are again on part 7 of our 8-part preparedness video series that's to help make life a lot better for you in any kind of catastrophe or disaster, anything you're running into. Hurricanes, tornadoes, power outages, ice storms, you name it. That's what the whole goal is. There's 8 parts to it total. We are on part 7. We're going to be talking about security. Now, the security aspect usually does not come into play until things get pretty bad. You start closing down towns, breaking things apart, you start getting looting, riots, you start running into some of these things. It's usually more than a 2 or 3 week disaster before this really kicks in. But it's one that people focus on, and it is an important one. I think people get a little carried away with it, but it is still an important one. And like I said, the longer any kind of disaster goes on, the more this will become apparent. Now, ways to be able to protect yourself, all right, and protect your house and your loved ones and things like that. There's many options. We're just going to tap on a few of them right here. First one being firearms. A lot of people like firearms. We love firearms. We're a shooting family. We have a lot of firearms. We're big into that stuff, and we know how to use them and take care of things. If you have young kids in the house, this can be a little trickier. You might want to combine other things, still having that option, but be careful because, again, that stuff should be protected from anybody who's not ready to use them from using them. This is an important one, and it's good to have. But I do believe there's other options as well too, especially if you're a family that only has one firearm, okay? Or your firearms are always locked in a safe, which is not a bad thing, especially if you have kids. But if it's hard to access that or not available in all parts of your house, then you're going to want some other options as well too, because the odds are if your gun is locked in a safe next to you in your closet, in your bedroom, and you're in your living room when this stuff happens or something goes down, you're not going to make it to there and get it. So you need other options as well too if you don't have firearms strategically placed in your house in inaccessible places where only you can get to them. You know, it's expensive, but they have a lot of biometric safes where it's only our fingerprint that can open them. You know, and there's options for this, okay? But firearms are one of them for sure, without fail. Like I said, I live in a rural area. I don't think there's a house anywhere around me where there's not guns that are strategically placed among their house to be able to protect themselves. It's just how it is, you know? So it's an option. Now, bear sprays, pepper bear sprays. Pepper sprays that you buy, you know, on a keychain, I think are pretty worthless. They're better than nothing, but they're pretty worthless. I honestly, my opinion is I'm an outdoorsman, so I have bear hunting pepper sprays. These are designed, they're a can about this big, and it's got a nice trigger on it, and it shoots a huge fog. And we also have them set up for home defense purposes. And the reasons for it is if somebody comes into a part of our house and they're coming after us, if we shoot this down a hallway, nobody can come through there for 5, 8, 10 minutes. They're not getting through there. 5 minutes in that kind of a situation is like it might as well be 4 hours. You got tons of time to figure out what your next step is. Retreat and get out of there, gain something to be able to advance with and defend yourself, whatever it is, but it will stop them from being able to come to you. It will shut them right down. And if you hit them with it, they'll be rolling around on the ground, screaming their eyes out, can't breathe, coughing like crazy, and are blinded. And it's that way for quite a while, so it gives you those opportunities. Actually, I would say in a lot of circumstances, that bear spray is going to be more effective than anything's going to do with a firearm. And so we use a combination of both. We have bear spray all over the place. And again, we have it because when we go hiking and camping and hunting, there's times I want to bring that bear spray with us. So we already have it. You can get these for about 40 bucks. They're not very expensive. You can get them at any Dunham's, Walmart. You know, just go in a sporting goods area and look for bear sprays. They're right there and available in pretty much every place, and they're very handy. We have them, like I said, spread all over the house. And they're non-lethal, which is nice. With this, there's a lot of danger that comes with a firearm. You know, you might hear a bump in the middle of the night and grab your gun and get up, and then you go out there and there's somebody standing in your kitchen and you shoot them and they fall over dead, and then you turn the lights on and realize that it was your neighbor who walked in the wrong house because he was drinking or something like that, or it's one of your kids' friends that came over. Who knows? Snuck in through, you know, your daughter's boyfriend came in through a window and he was getting something out of the fridge. You know, again, things that you do not want to be as permanent as that is. Bear sprays, I'll shoot them with bear spray all day long, and then when they wake up a half hour later and come to, then I'll find out what the reason for them to be there is. You know, but it's not so permanent. So I'm a big fan of using the bear sprays and having those as an option. As a matter of fact, the way we're set up too, those are more of a first choice go-to option in our house and spread around there. And then these are also there if it comes to it, but these are what we would go for, you know, for a bump in the night where we have to explore something. Don't get me wrong. One of these will be with me, but this will be my first line of defense, especially in an unknown scenario. You know, that kind of thing. If I'm sitting on the couch and we're watching TV and somebody all of a sudden just rips the sliding door open and these guys start pulling into here and coming in with ski masks on and have guns in their hands, then we're skipping the bear spray and we're heading straight to those, you know. And we have them in position so that under those circumstances, we know what to do with them. So these are options. If none of those are an option for you, or even in combination, bats are another good one. You know, baseball bats are dirt cheap. They're like, you can get them for like 10 bucks at Walmart. You know, get a bat, get 10 bats and spread them around your house. You hit somebody with a bat, it's not like you see on a movie. You hit somebody with a bat, it's pretty much, they're not coming back from that very well. Okay, so they're fantastic, and they keep those people away from you. You can take them from a farther distance and not have to be right on top of them. Notice there's nothing on here that says anything about knives. Knives are not bad options. I carry a knife with me everywhere I go. I know how to use it defensively. But realistically, a bat is, if I have a choice between a bat and a knife, I'm taking a bat all day long. So those are your defensive kind of things. And again, there's many more, but you should be looking at your house and looking at putting certain things in certain places, whatever you're comfortable with, to give you defensive options in case, because the world is not always a good place. There's a lot of bad people out there that want to take advantage of hard times and use them to their advantage. You need to be able to protect your family somehow. It does not have to be in a lethal manner. It can be non-lethal options. Like I said, I mean, even though we're real big into all the firearm stuff, this is our preferred method. But these are options here that you need to figure out for yourself, whatever level that is. Find a way to be able to protect your castle, your home, your family, your world. Now, Wise cameras. Okay, you get these on Amazon. Maybe I'll put a couple links down below here for you, but these are a fantastic option. They're very inexpensive. You do not have to have somebody come in and install them, and you can put them outdoors as well too. So it's very easy. For about under $100, you could probably cover your entire house all the way around the outside and have alerts set up and motion sensing cameras that are there that go right to your cell phone and call you and immediately alert you to anybody being there anywhere. You can run them inside, outside. You can do all kinds of things with them, and they work incredible. And there's Weiss is the one that we like, but there's a lot of other companies. We have these all over the place. They're phenomenal. But there's other camera options out there too. But these things are not expensive. But here at my house, you can't walk. I mean, my property is 5 acres, and I'll bet I don't think there's a spot on my, probably on the 4 around my house. I don't think you can actually even, I don't think you can step there without me knowing about it, period. It just isn't an option. And you would be amazed at how many times a day that goes off from deer, raccoon, you name it, it's there. So these things are phenomenal. We know daytime, nighttime, we know everything that goes on everywhere around our property. And I don't think I have $200 invested in that. And like I said, I'm covering acres of area with these things. So they're dirt cheap, and they are incredible. So something like that's a great idea. Alarms too. Now, alarms for your house is one thing. That's what people do, and I get that and I understand that. But portable alarms are also a fantastic thing too. Portable alarms are all kinds of things. They can be where it breaks an infrared light, so you have a unit that can mount on a tree, and then over on another tree you put another little bounce back unit, and so there's a light going between them. If somebody walks or drives through there, if a car pulls up your driveway, this alarm sounds. Or it can actually, now they have them where it goes right to your phone and alerts you, or it rings a chime inside your house, but you know about it. You can put these in places. We have them strategically set up around here. We don't leave them up all the time, but if we want them up, we can put them up. If we're gone, we have them set so they trigger and tell us, along with the cameras at the house. This is just very affordable stuff. You also have the window units. You got a piece on here and a piece on here. If the window opens, the alarm goes off. These can be used not only on windows, they can be used on doors, they can be used any place. You can use them with strings connected to them, so if somebody comes through here, they trip that string, it pulls that apart. Now that alarm starts sounding. you can get a 10-pack of these things for like $5 or $8. You know, this stuff is cheap, but they're options to give you. And, you know, you can have them. And in times of crisis or disaster, when you start worrying about stuff like that, looters coming in, raiding your garage, stealing your car, any of this stuff, you have options that can, you know, or heaven forbid, coming into your house, you know, and stealing something, or even coming in to do bodily harm to you, you have ways to be alerted to that. Pets are another one I did not put on here, but if you have pets, I shouldn't say pets, I should say a dog. Okay, and I don't mean a big mean dog that's going to do some damage to anybody, because that, you know, I mean, I would not be afraid of a dog. I don't care what it is, Doberman, Pit Bull, I don't care what it is. If I'm coming to do harm to you, I'm probably armed, and if your dog comes after me, I'm killing your dog immediately. Your dog does not threaten me. It doesn't scare me. The Facebook ads make me laugh when they talk about how, oh, she's protected because the dog's with her. That dog is nothing. Okay, straight up easy peasy stuff for anybody who wants to take that animal out. But a dog that barks and will alert you to the fact that there's somebody coming, that's worth $1 million, because everything that you're seeing here, now community fits in there too. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, all of this stuff right here warns you so that you can be prepared with whatever your measure is here to be defensive. Without these, this comes too late in a lot of instances. The surprise instance, the power that they come in with, you may not be able to pull any of this stuff off. Not without training, not without skill set, not without family communication and test runs and trials. This becomes very tricky. These are number 1. This becomes number 2. Yet the majority of the world focuses on this is the most important, yet they have no idea about the real world, that all of this, without this, you'll probably never get to that. So it's pretty interesting how mainstream media, social media, you know, YouTube, all this stuff focuses so heavy here. This is actually the most important, but you cannot have one without the other. These, I guess you could have without this, but really, this is the most important, is this category here. Then you can move into this. You should have both. Plain and simple. Have both. You need both of these. But this one is the number 1 aspect that this tells you to get prepared with this so that you are now ready. Okay, that's important. Now, the community aspect of this fits into this category too. Like I said in the last chapter, or last part that we did, community is huge. Knowing those people around you are really big. Now, my cameras, some of my cameras on one side of my house, I only have neighbors on one side that are close to me. And that neighbor I'm close with. And he knows that my cameras point and see the outside of his house. Now, they can't see into his house. They can't even see his house. But they see a portion of how to access his house. And if any, he knows that that side's covered. If something were to happen there, he knows that I would alert him immediately, because I'm getting the alert that something's happening there. So he knows that's covered. He knows when I am gone. Okay, when I leave and I'm going away for a day or 2 or whatever the case is, or he knows what car I drive all the time, he knows what my wife drives all the time, he knows what my daughter drives all the time. He knows when I'm not here, when I am here. We know the same, you know, I know the same thing about his. I know what his kids drive. We are able to watch each other's stuff all the time, to keep an eye out for each other. And the same with other people around here. You know, my other neighbors, we have one that leaves for, you know, a few weeks each year. When he does, we access his house. We make sure that everything is okay. We have his garage door opener. We are over there checking on things regularly. When we leave, he does the same thing. That community aspect is huge. And I also know that if my wife or my daughter or myself, if I kick one of my windows out and scream at the top of my lungs, I know that the 5 people probably within earshot of me would immediately, those houses, they would be coming running over here with guns, with bats, with pepper spray, with everything. Police called and they are on their way. And they know that if I heard something or anything like that, I would be over there in a heartbeat instantly in there. And it's funny because we have had some, you know, scenarios where, you know, the neighbor, you know, his daughter had a new boyfriend. And I didn't know who this guy was. And I walk outside and I see a car there in his driveway. I don't know. I start walking over there. I see a guy I don't know. And, you know, I'm hearing his story. Well, I'm calling, you know, and verifying, you know, hey, I got this dude right here. You know, he's telling me he's, you know, he's telling me his boyfriend here, and I don't know who this guy is. So, yeah, he is. He's okay. We told him to go over there. He's letting the dogs out for us because we're at a tournament Okay, got it. No worries. Hey, sorry, buddy. You know, that kind of thing, and vice versa. So community is a huge one. Nobody, I mean, there's nothing better than people watching your back and watching out for you, and vice versa. So take advantage of all of them. But when it comes to security, hopefully you never need it, but there may be times where you do. And this is my best advice for how to handle that stuff. And I'm sure there's a million ways, but this is the tactics that we employ here that make us feel safe, and it's worked really well.